There we go.
All right, we're live. So, welcome everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Oh boy, that just our little my little counter just went from 1 to like 27. I was like, whoa. Oh, I love it. Okay, so there are people in the chat. Hello, people in the chat. How are
Hi,
you
guys.
doing? Welcome back to the channel. This is Ravenflower, and it is yet another Truth Talk. And thank you so much for joining us. Today we have my good friend Wendy from Ohio. She is a witchy poo, Wendy the witchy poo. Who knew? And
Yeah,
she's got some truth to tell. And so, Wendy, I'm just going to let you go for it. I'm just going to let you go for it. Do you want to talk about where you started in your path? Do you want to talk about how we met? Do you want to talk about how you ended up here, or whatever you want to talk about?
we can talk about, where I started as being witchy or pagan or how I found my path or like that. I mean, I moved here for my company from Illinois and Southern Illinois and came here when I was 23 and for my work. And, probably 2 years I've been driving past this place.
Oh.
And my curiosity piqued. I saw a witch on a broom and a light in the window.
Mhm.
And it was only open during the evening, and we would drive past this. I felt like I had to go in there.
Yeah.
So I was talking to my husband. We were in the car. I said, Do you mind pulling over? He's like, No. So we went in and we strolled. And that was the very first time that I ever encountered anything. For some reason, I just felt like I needed to go in there. And so we went in there and we looked around, and the owner, she was in there. She was very kind. And she actually belonged and started the Witches Society at Ohio State University. They have an entire pagan witches society there. Huge college here, Ohio State Buckeyes, it's big. And she started that, and it still exists now. I was mid 20s and I'm 51. So went in there, asked her some questions. She said, if you have any questions after that, no problem. I emailed her. She answered me. I felt content with it. Went back in again and bought a book, and that's how it all started.
That's how it
One
all
simple
started.
little small 25-page pink book
Yep.
about what it was like to be a witch. And I bought it and I hid it. I didn't want anybody to see it. I didn't want my children to see it, not my husband, my
I
children.
know.
I didn't want, because I had a daughter, and our son was still very small. So, but I didn't want my.
Oh, we got to freeze. I think we got to freeze. Wendy, come back. There she is.
Yeah, there.
I'm here. I'm here.
And
You froze up a little bit. There you go. So you didn't want your daughter to see it. Do we freeze again? Uh-oh.
there we go.
There we go.
Okay, so I kept it hidden for a long time.
Mhm.
And then I started thinking to myself, probably, I don't know, I kept that book. I read as much as I could. I went into the library with the kids, always went to that little section where I could find and stand there and, kind of guard myself from everybody and read along. And I'd never check them out, but I'd read along.
Yeah.
And in my 30s, my father had a massive heart attack when I was 38 years old and died. I listened to it on the phone.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
My stepmother called me screaming, "Please, God, help me." And I'm 8 hours away, and she wanted me to help her. And there's nothing I could do.
Right.
So I'm listening to the chest compressions. I'm listening to the air come out of his body. Um, I'm sitting there, and the phone hangs up, and I call my brother and say, "You got to get over there right now. I don't know what's going on." So I'm sitting there during this whole process, and I'm like, they're all Pentecostal.
Mm-hmm.
So not my brother. My brother's a hellion. He's a heathen, just like me. So, we get along real well when it comes to that. So, but he's different.
Oh, we froze again.
And
Wendy,
and
you're
the more
cutting.
this preacher that I just absolutely could not stand. Oh,
Wendy,
there we go.
Wendy, we need a. There we
I
go. We need a new connection or something.
absolutely cannot stand to listen to him speak one more time. I think Raven's gone.
No, I'm here.
There she is. So,
Exactly. I got you cutting in and out. You're
oh,
cutting in and out pretty bad. Are you? How's your signal?
it's good.
Okay,
It's
continue.
4 bars. Okay, I'll try. If not, I'll move. I'll shimmy around. I'll shimmy around. So as I listened and heard all this, what I call just a bunch of crap, it was just stupid. The more I kept thinking, because secretly inside me, I was a, was a pagan. I didn't believe in any of that. I didn't believe in what they were talking about.
Mhm.
I didn't believe in any of it. It was nonsense, and I got more disgusted as it went on.
Okay.
So when we came home, we did a month uh, here and a month there, going back, taking care of everything. I had to do all the plans. I had to do everything. I got home and I said, "That's it. I'm not going to take it anymore." And I said, "I don't believe in any of this junk I've been hearing. It's pissing me off." And so I just
Think we got a connection issue.
really didn't say anything to anybody at work. If they asked, I'd tell them. Well, my boss was my friend, which is not, none of them are my friends now after that incident. I was
Hmm.
on uh your show, and it was live on my page. I didn't hide it from anybody. Everybody knew, but all of a sudden I see her pop up in your your thing. You can drive more. And I'm like, wait a minute. Did she just come in here? And my hackles, I was like, whoa, God, no, not this. So I was like, all right. And she popped back out real quick. So the next day I went to work and I said, she's sitting in front of me. I said, hey. She said, yeah. And I said, did you like what you seen yesterday? She said, excuse me? And I said, in my Facebook, did you like what you seen yesterday? She goes, what do you mean? I said, you popped into one of my friend's live feeds that she was having at her home. I said, did you like what you seen? And she goes, I found it interesting. I said, how so? And she goes, can I ask you something? I said, absolutely. She goes, is that all devil stuff? I said, absolutely. I said, no. I said, I'm pagan
No,
witch.
that's a Christian deity. Sorry,
I
that's
mean,
a
I
Christian
told her, I
deity.
said, no, God, jeez. I said, we're pagan witches. I said, everybody doesn't believe in God. Some do. Some have Christian deities. Some don't. I said, I personally do not. I said, but I don't have a problem with anybody that does. I said, to each their own, and I do not care what anybody believes in.
Mhm.
So then she told another boss, and then they told another boss, and then everybody knew.
Yeah.
So, that's how everybody at work found out, watching your live feed, which was hilarious, by the way. I loved it every moment. Shame on you. Shame, the shame, Raven. And the shame. And and
Hmm.
I laughed, and then curious questions started coming. And then one day I had this one of my necklaces on, and
Mhm.
a new girl came in, this
Huh?
one, if you can see. A new girl got hired, and she was sitting across the room, and she walked past me on her first day, and she came back and she looked at me and she goes, bends down real quiet, and she goes, excuse me, but are you a pagan witch? I said, how did you know? I didn't think it was out, but apparently it had been. She goes, your necklace. I said, you don't have to whisper, everybody knows. She goes, oh, okay. And she opened up, she goes, me too. I'm like, okay. I was like, that was the weirdest thing ever. So that was interesting. And then, the girl in the room that does not like me even to this day would walk around my the cubicle. She just would walk around. And I said, why are you going all the way around? She goes, because personally, you kind of freak me out. I said, well, if you give me a piece of your hair, I said, we won't have a problem. She goes, a piece of my hair? And I said, yeah, a piece of your hair. Are you okay with that? She goes, no, you're nuts. And she went to the kitchen. I was like, well, I tried, you know, I, I tried. I'm sorry. So, so from that point on, when my boss would get nasty with me, I asked her for a piece of her hair. So she said, no, I'm keeping my hair up in a ponytail. I said, well, it's on the back of your chair. Don't worry.
Don't worry
And
about it. It's all
she
over
goes,
your sweater.
you're not being nice. I said, you're not nice either. So it's okay. So, you know, they would kind of keep an eye on me, but we all work from home now. So we're good. People say I still freak them out, but that's okay. You
But
know,
those people that are freaked out, it's good that they're
yes,
freaked out. It's kind of the same thing as hot foot powder. You just sprinkle that shit
yes,
around.
exactly. Well, they
Sprinkle it around.
didn't talk to me, the catty, I guess, catty people. They,
Uh-huh.
men and women, there was a couple in there, never spoke to me again. I was like, well, that does not hurt my feelings. So, but I would smile and I'd say, hello, good morning. They didn't say
Mm-hmm.
anything. I said, well, thank you. You too. Thank you. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you. Have a good day. And they just keep on walking. But,
Yep.
you know, that's kind of how, all the witchy stuff started. Really was in my mid 20s, but I didn't really get into it until my 30s when I thought I got cancer. And my daughter, how it all started was on my birthday, December 11th of 2011. On my birthday, I went to the doctor, went to the OBGYN and had a mammogram.
Mm-hmm.
And because since I was 19, they found a fatty lump. No big deal. They took it out, but they had always watched me. So I went in and I could see the look on the lady's face. I said, you found something, didn't you? And she goes, I'm not really allowed to say, you know how it goes.
Yep.
And so my doctor comes in and says, I'd like to send you across the street, make an appointment to get a MRI, a stronger one from the hospital, and, an ultrasound. So they did all that. Sure enough, it was cancer. I didn't know that at the time. So they said, we'll call you just to make sure and let you know.
Mm-hmm.
So my daughter, who was 19 at the time, had went to a party. Well, said party, her friends were supposed to watch out. They all had a buddy. None of their buddies were watching each other's buddies. And I guess she had a little bit too much fun. And it was it was February, no, end of January. And she said she wasn't feeling good. She said, can you take me to the doctor? I don't feel good. I'm puking. I don't feel good. I'm like, okay. So I called the pediatrician. So we got her in there and, I'm in there with her and they said, can we get a urine sample? And she instantly gets mad. And I'm thinking, why are you so mad? Just do it. So I get a phone call while we're waiting. So the doctor steps out. I get a phone call and I crack open the door. I said, excuse me, I'm so sorry, but I got a phone call and I really must take this. I'll be right back. It was my surgeon. So I step outside the pediatrician and she says to me, hey, just wanted to let you know you have cancer. So that's how I found out over the phone.
Wow.
So I can see my husband sitting in the vehicle across from me with my son, a very young son. And so then I turn around, didn't show any reaction because I didn't want to freak him out. And I walked right back to the pediatrician, opened the door. My daughter's curled up in the fetal position, crying, just crying, sobbing uncontrollably. And the doctor's got her hands on her hips. And she said, do you want to tell her? Like it was a disgrace, like it was shameful. She said, do you want to tell her or do you want me to? And I said, what's happening? And this happened in like a 3-minute time. And she said, I can't do it. I can't tell her. And I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. I said, what's going on? And she said, your daughter's pregnant. And I walked right over to her and she was on the bed and I leaned down and I put my arms around her and I said, I am right here. I'm right here.
Oh
I
my
said,
God.
I'm not going anywhere. I said, it doesn't matter what's going on. We can deal with this as a family. I said, let's go. I said, is there anything else that you need? And she said, no, you need to find her a doctor. I'm like, okay, fine. So
What a miserable bitch.
yes,
I'm just like,
never took her there again. She was a
God.
terrible woman. She was disgraced. She was beyond disgraced. I'm like, you're disgusting. So she left and my daughter's telling me, I don't want this baby. I don't want this baby. I'm 19. I don't want this baby. I can't do this. I don't want children. I don't want to be a mother. I
Mhm.
said, honey, this is just smacking you right in the mouth. I said, you think about it. If that's how you feel, then we will deal with that. I said, there's options,
Mhm.
lots of options. I said,
Mhm.
let's just talk about it. I said, dry your face. Let's go and have dinner if you want, or we can go home. She said, let's go have dinner. I didn't say anything about the cancer. I didn't say anything about the baby. I didn't say anything to my husband at all. So we went to dinner. We got home. We went into the bedroom, and I told him both double whammies at the same time. So, the
Poor
baby was,
husband. Poor
hmm?
husband. I just want
I
to hug
know.
this poor husband.
Poor Joe. He just got smacked in the mouth twice. So we sobbed about the cancer. I mean, it was very emotional, and we had to pick up some things. So we decided we were going to wait to tell the children. Ethan was still young enough he didn't really understand what was going on, really. And but she definitely did. And we left him at the house. We went to the grocery store. My parents call me inside of Kroger. Okay. I'm in the middle of Kroger. My mom says, what did the doctor say? I said, you know what, Mom? I said, I'm in Kroger right now. I really don't feel comfortable talking about this
Yeah,
right now. And
right.
she starts getting very emotional. I'm on the speakerphone with my mom and my stepdad. And she said, please tell me I can't handle it. And so in the middle of the grocery store, I tell my parents, yes, I have cancer. My mom loses her mind. I'm her only child. And I feel terrible. Now I'm crying. She's crying. My stepdad's crying. People are walking down the aisle looking at me, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. So I said, Mom, I can't do this right now. I gotta finish in here. So, me and my husband are trying to do grown up things and just bawling. He's in the next aisle. So we get home, and, we sit down and we tell our daughter, and first thing she says to me is, am I going to get it too? Well, because my grandmother died of it. My mother got cancer, same side. My aunt had it. I had it, all on the left side. Every woman on my mom's side has died from it.
Oh my
So
God.
here comes my mom. She gets left side, gets that taken off. She gets a lumpectomy. She's great. She'll be 74 next week. And
Hmm.
I got a double mastectomy, got my ovaries removed, had chemo, lost my hair, looked like a little duckling with little baby blonde hair up there, looked like a little goose. And my neighbors all came together, and she shaved my neighbor across the street shaved my hair for me. Um, I was fine. Was out of work for 22 months. I had 12 surgeries and probably 12 major surgeries and probably about 15-ish, 20, maybe I couldn't even count how many outpatient type things I had to be done. Where tubes are being taken out of my body. My husband's holding me up, the surgeon's holding me up, and he's yanking them, because in your breast, they put this coil all the way around from the outside to the very middle, and they yank it. And that's bad. And it's very painful. It's the worst pain other than chemotherapy, it was the worst I've ever felt. I'd rather have 10 babies at one time than have that done. So, all of that was a mess. Had the chemo. My mom came here every 2 weeks to help me, because my husband was trying to work two jobs at the same time, because I wasn't working, obviously.
Right. Right.
And we're taking care of my pregnant daughter, who is growing daily. And I'm worried I'm not going to get to see my grandson, because I'm not going to be here. But thankfully I am, and all is good with that. Um, he's a thriving 9-year-old. And, he helped me get through that whole thing, because I got to watch her belly grow. I got to go to some of the doctor's appointments when I wasn't horribly sick. And
Yeah.
I got to see his ultrasounds and, everything. So, and then she gave birth, I pulled him out. I cut the cord. I was completely bald headed and just got out of chemo, but thankfully they let me do it. And that was it. And he made me the happiest ever. Our first picture together, we're both bald. He has more hair than I do. Yeah. He has more hair than I do. Yeah, so
That's really
it was
sweet.
it was the sweetest thing ever. She was in the shower, and I took a hold of him and took a picture, and the sweet little thing was trying to nurse on on my shirt, and he's had more hair than me. I said, well, bless your heart. And she let me name him.
Um,
She decided that she was going to give him to us, or she was going to raise him, and she decided that she was going to be a grown woman as much as she could with the help of her parents, and she decided to keep him. He's an amazing little boy. He is severely autistic. He is mute. He can't speak. He gives you a run for your money, and he laughs at you, and he takes off running because he thinks he's funny. And he hustles. He hustles. He's a really sweet boy. He's a big boy, but he's something. But yeah, I named him Lane, and his middle name's Bruce after my dad, and they call him Brucey, and he's the best boy ever. And my daughter knows that I am a pagan witch, and she calls me a weirdo. We don't get along very well because of that, but it's okay. It's
That's
okay.
not her journey. It's not her journey. She doesn't have to
It's
understand that. That's okay.
it's not, and they're very Catholic, um, very Catholic, and she pretends I say she's a closet Catholic. She only wants to be when it's time to show up, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Holiday
it's
Catholic.
it's a performance. I like to say she's on stage, so she has to let it flow.
Yeah.
And sometimes she tries to out church me, or has tried to out church me, so to speak. And she doesn't like it when I know more things about her when it comes to Christianity, and it ticks her off. She said, "How can that be?" I said, "Well, we all weren't. I mean, we were in homes with Pentecostal parents and Lutheran parents, and I had 4 sets of parents: a stepmom, a mom, a dad, and a stepdad, and they were all different faiths. So, I got to be raised with that till I could make my own decisions. So, but yeah, my daughter has 3 children now, and lives on her own with the father of the Lane.
Okay.
And that was just a whole ugly episode on itself, and he's scared of me because I am a pagan witch, very openly. And he is from El Salvador.
He's scared of you.
Extremely scared of me. He thinks that he calls me a bruja, which I told him I was getting a shirt. It said bruja on it. He said, "You're a bruja." He wanted me out of his house. He did not want me in there. And I said, "Well, yeah, bruja. Yeah." And he goes, He goes, "Not around my kids." I said, "Oh, give it a rest. Give it a rest. Give it a rest. Stop it. Stop it." They're very Catholic, and it's their culture, and I'm fine with that. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, but not for me.
But there's so many similarities to with Catholicism to witchcraft. I mean, there's so many similarities. It's just sort of asinine to me. Sorry, my opinion.
No, I've explained it to him and tried to get him to not be okay with it, but both of them to understand the similarities, like you're saying, of them. But they don't want to see it my way, and that's okay. Not everybody has to be okay with what we believe, our belief system of what we like or what we want or how we believe in our spiritual path or whatever you want to call it. And I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with them not liking me, but that's okay. But my son, he does not care. He said, "Mom, you're a little freaky." I said, "Thank you." Okay. Thank you.
Phoenix in the chat right now says, "I'm a Catholic and I'm a witch." I mean, I know a lot of Christian mystics and Catholic witches. I mean, when I was in San Antonio, they kind of went hand in hand, and it was accepted. They thought I was this. I was really more heathen and eclectic, but I could ride in the safety of that saddle, pretty easily.
Yep. And that girl that I met at work who came up to me, she said, she said, what do you call yourself? What is your thing? I said, "I'm an eclectic pagan witch." And she said, "Oh, I'm a Christian witch." I said, "Well, it's really nice to meet you. If you ever want to sit down and talk, let me know. Here's my number." And I gave it to her, so
that's how it should be.
yeah, many similarities, but different all at the same time. I think if we can share with each other and learn and kind of come together a little bit and, just, I don't know, make each other feel safe and not so distant from one another. Stop hating each other and just, I
Treat
don't
each
know.
other with respect and
Yep.
realize that it's all an individual path and it's freaking
Yeah,
okay. It's okay
absolutely.
to be over here and
Absolutely.
over there and over there.
Yep. Yeah. And I did talk to my mother and I said, you're not going to like what I'm going to explain, but I hope that you understand. And so she goes, oh God, Wendy, what is it now? What is it now? I'm like, oh, mom, please.
Uh, uh,
She goes, I couldn't have had multiple children. She said, because you're like 101. I said, oh, I love you too, mom. So she laughed. I laughed. And I said, well, there's something I'd like to tell you. She goes, okay. And I told her, I said, you have different beliefs. You're Lutheran because their family's German. They came, she's the second one of our family members that was born here. And
Wisconsin Synod or Missouri Synod? You know what I
yes,
mean.
yes. I told her and she was real quiet. I said, hello? And she goes, okay, real quiet. I go, okay. And she goes, what does this mean? I said, nothing. I said, it just means what I believe in. She goes, can you tell me what that is? I said, sure. She goes, do you believe in God? I said, yes and no, not your God. I said,
Right.
but my own. And she goes,
Mm-hmm.
oh, Wendy Lynn, when your parent breaks out another name of yours, yeah, I'm like, oh, geez. I go, Mom, come on. So she goes, well, she goes, what is your God? I said, well, I said, Mom, I said, we probably shouldn't really get that deep into it right now. I said, I have a God and goddess says three of them. She goes, three? I said, yeah, women. With strong goddesses. And she goes, okay. And I said, I'll I'll bring books and pictures, a picture book. I said, that way it'll help you. She goes, you have books? I said, oh, Mom, we all have books. We all have so many books, many books. And she goes, okay. She goes, what are we talking about? You have a couple? I said, oh, Mom, please. There's like 100 of them up there. I said, I can show them. I can, do that. So she is understanding. She doesn't like it because she's scared that when she passes, as she says, and goes to heaven, she won't see me anymore. And
Oh,
I said, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Um,
mm-hmm.
if that's something that you believe in, then okay. I said, I feel like we will all see each other someday, some way, somehow, uh, in one way or another. I said, but you can believe in what you would like to believe in. And
Mm-hmm.
she told my stepfather, which was weird. He's raised me since I was 11.
Yeah.
That was weird. That was very uncomfortable. He doesn't say anything. He never says a word, not a word. And I kind of joked around with him one time just to see what he would say. And he wasn't uncomfortable with it. He just kind of smiled and giggled and, left it alone. Now, if my father was here, it would be another thing.
Yeah.
My father was Pentecostal. Um, I would never. I. I. This may sound odd to some, and I don't apologize for it. I loved my dad very much. He was my best friend. I
Mm-hmm.
called him 4 times a day,
Uh-huh.
excessive to some, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
knew I knew he was going to die.
Oh,
He was not healthy. He was overweight, like I am. He had diabetes, high blood pressure, um, high cholesterol. Um, you know, yes, I'm in my car. Yeah, yes, the door just got opened. If you can hear the dinging, I don't know why it's doing that. But he had his first heart attack when he was 53 from smoking excessively,
oh boy.
and he had 4 total by the time he was 60, like I had said earlier.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so I tried not to. I tried not to fluster him in any way. I didn't want to raise his blood pressure. I didn't want to any of that. So if we showed up on the weekends or something and he'd say, hey, would you like to do Bible study? I said, I'd rather fall on the floor and die and crawl out the house. And he'd laugh and laugh and laugh. He goes, you are a heathen. I said, more than you know. And my other two brothers call me a heathen, like not in a good way. And my birthday, they bought me a Bible with my name on it. I said, well, bless your heart. I said, that's so sweet. It's even got my name on it. I said, that is awesome. So, they said, you need that. My stepbrother hit me in the head with it. He said, I hope that helps. I said, oh, it doesn't. Trust me. I said, but thank you for the gift. That's lovely. Thank you for understanding. So ridiculous. But I wouldn't have told my father. Even today, I would not, because he would think, he would understand. He would be loving. He wouldn't be mean to me. But I wouldn't want him, and this, again, may sound terrible to some, I wouldn't want my father to think he'd never see me again.
Oh, yeah.
My dad very much believed that his family would be, reunited. And he said, I'll be waiting at the gates for you. And I wouldn't want to take that from him in particular. My mother, she just deals with it and goes with the flow. My stepmother was a super fantastic holy roller, long skirts down to the ground. Her hair was probably to her knees. We're talking Pentecostal, Holy Ghost running around, right there on the floor, the whole thing. So,
speaking in tongues and the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. She said they were talking in tongue, and I said, oh, stop. I said, no. She said, no, we were. I said, oh, I bet you were. And she said, why are you like this? I said, I'm just special. Just special.
Keep going. I got to open up a window real quick.
Yep. So, so they knew something was different. They just didn't know. They couldn't put their finger on it, nor would I have ever told them. But like I said, I loved them dearly, but that's not two parents I would share that with. And that's my own thing. Like I said, a lot of people might not, I don't know, they might not agree with that. They think that you should be more open, but I am open with everybody. I'm not in the closet, so to speak, to anyone, not my friends, my family, my favorite cousin. We get along, we're like sisters, but I came over to her house. She lives in Nashville, Tennessee. And I walked in the house and I sat down and I'm scratching her cat, we're talking, and she has this big, beautiful cross above her television. Beautiful wrought iron. It's gorgeous. And I said, I love the house. It's really pretty. I said, you've done so much to it. And she said, don't make my cross turn upside down. And I looked at her and I said, you're the weirdest person I have ever met in my life. Why do you think that pagans or Wiccans or, witches or one or the other or both or all or whatever you want to do would walk in here and make a cross turn upside down? I said, wrong faith, sister. I said, although there are, I can't even say it, satanic pagans, there are different versions of everything. And, they're not going to make your cross turn upside down either. I said, you need to understand what you're talking about. I said, that you're talking silly. And so she asked me,
silly and based off of fear that was provided from the closed system in which you believe.
Yep. I told her, you've been watching way too many horror stories. I don't know what you're watching. So the next time I came to,
I have to tell you that I love that show, A Haunting. And then as soon as it's like, I start rolling my eyes and I start like yelling at the TV as soon as they're like, and they found a pentagram in the basement. And clearly there were witches that were doing rituals. And that's what opens the gate of hell. It's like, okay, whatever. Somebody needs to write these producers and tell them something.
No. How dare us? How dare us?
How dare we? How dare we gather? How dare?
Yes. Gosh, it's ridiculous. So when we went to my cousin's again for a birthday. She asked me when I walked in, she said, hey, can I talk to you in the bedroom? I said, sure, no problem. So we go in there and she says, which I just couldn't believe it. She said, could you cleanse my house for me?
Yeah.
I said, oh, I'm sorry. You want me to cleanse your home for you? She said, could you? She goes, I feel like something's not right. I said, oh, but you want me to do it? I said, is that okay that I do that? Or am I going to spin your cross around? She goes, you know what I mean. I said, I don't think I do. She goes, can you cleanse it or not? And I said, I can. So I went to the Mystic Heart down the road. A very nice lady named Carol owns that shop. And she said, oh, back again? I said, well, I sure am. She goes, I love when you come in there. They talk, talk, talk. She said, yeah, your cousin's been in here, but that's because people mostly. So I got the things I needed. I cleansed her home. She goes, Nina, I just feel so much better. I said, do you? I said, well, see, that's what it's all about. I said, it's a cool thing. The outdoors and we love animals and we love some people. I'm not a huge people person. I mean, I'm more of an introvert, I guess. And I said, we're supposed to love it, love everything and be kind as we can be. I said, we're not terrible people. We're not evil. We're not mean. Well, we can be
Right.
mean. I can be mean. But you know what I mean. I can be saucy. So I told her, I said, thank you for letting me do that. I said, and thanks for not thinking I'm some evil entity. But I think that wraps up my family. They're lovely. Um,
They're
yeah,
lovely.
they're
They're
lovely
lovely.
people. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fantastic. That's fantastic.
yeah.
What a
And,
story, man.
and yeah, we've had all kinds. And, thankfully I don't have a husband that he just kind of goes with the flow. He doesn't think I'm bizarre. He doesn't, only on occasion.
Only on occasion. That's funny. Oh man, you were talking to me a little bit about you cut out again. Uh-oh, where'd you go? She frozen in time. Are you traveling in that car? We'll wait for her to come
Well,
back.
oh, there we
Oh, there you are.
go. Okay, so what was I saying? I don't even remember.
It's
But
okay. Um, you froze up there a little bit about the family, and let's see, they were delightful and whatever, and then you just sort of froze.
hold on, now I can't hear you for some reason.
Uh-oh.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. Technical difficulties. I here.
Is
I
it lag?
promise.
Okay.
Could be a lag. If you want, you can go out and come back in.
Uh, let me try
It's
that.
up to you. It's up
Let's
to you.
see.
It's okay.
All right.
And then it's me. She'll be back in just a second. Um, Wendy and I were talking a little bit. We've got something else that's similar, not only that whole former Lutheran situation, and dealing with the dynamic of now being pagan, having been Christian before, and sort of hiding in the church a little bit about all of that. And there's so many of us. Oh my gosh, there's so many of us. So many of us that came from sort of a Catholicism or some sort of Christian background, whether that be Baptist, Assemblies of God, any of that other stuff. You can, it's just so, I saw a meme a long time ago that says, because I was a Christian, now I am a pagan, or now I practice pagan. There's a lot of us. There's a lot of us. There's a lot of us that hid in the church for a very long time, and then now, Wendy wanted to talk about a little bit about some other family dynamics. I think this is a good segue of that, and I'll let her come back in order to do so. But we've got another similarity in regards to, our kids going through a bit of a transition and change and all that jazz. There's a lot of people that have been asking me not only about my daughter Amber, who had gotten in her car accident just recently, but also that hold on, and everybody's calling me right now. I've gotten 4 messages, 2 phone calls, and I can't talk right now. People, I'm on live and you know it. Anyhow, so they're talking about Amber and they're wanting a update on Amber. Amber's doing better. A lot of trauma that's happening on her foot. Her belly is so much better, but it's going to be a while. She goes to the doctor tomorrow for the foot and all that jazz. So we will find out where she's at with all of that process and the healing. It's going to be a while. I mean, she's not going to be probably independent until maybe the end of September, the beginning of October. We don't really know. We're really hoping for her, but it's going to be a long process for her. She's trying to get back into college so that she can do online stuff. So that's a good thing. I think that will keep her brain a little bit more active than just watching, TV the way she's been watching TV. It is a thing. And then also people have been asking about Ridley and, their process in transitioning. And Ridley now no longer goes as them, they, but they now are presenting as he, him. So I have a beautiful baby boy. And it's been a process for me as a parent because I want to be, how do I say? Of course I'm supportive. That is the thing. It doesn't matter to me how they present. I just want to make sure that they're happy and they're healthy and that they're being treated with respect and they're going about their life the way they want to go about their life. That's probably the most important to me. And then also they now have a partner. So they have a new boyfriend who is also a trans boy. And they are living together in San Antonio, Texas. And it is a thing. So I'm super excited about that for them. And I was on the phone with them the other day and they're super happy and in the throes of young love. Super excited for them. So that is something that's happening. And, as parents, you deal with it in a different way. Even if you're open-minded, you deal with it in a different way. You don't want your kids to be hurt or, a target for anything like that. There's so many people out there that are close-minded that will treat your kid with, disrespect and, come at them from a different way. And it's just scary. It's scary. We sit here and we talk so many different, how do I say, you send out the best intentions and you send out all of that love and that, thing. You do all that, but you want the best for your kid and you have to allow them to find those processes and journey for themselves. And you want to be there for them, but it's like scary as a parent because you don't know what's coming at them. It wasn't a culture or wasn't accepted the way it is now. And it still isn't accepted in a lot of areas. It's like terrifying to me that my kid is in Texas and this is, how they're choosing to live their life. It's not that I want them to be their most authentic self and I want them to be safe. I'm like, get out of a red state, get out of the red state. I'm scared for them. Okay, now where is Wendy? Wendy, where did you go? Let me just see real quick. I'm going to mess with my phone just a minute, just to see what's up. Messenger. Let me go back to Messenger and find out where Wendy Bean is. Wendy, where are you? Am I still here? Oh, no. Go back. All right. I'm still here. Oh, okay. I think Wendy is back. There
Sorry
she is.
for those technical difficulties. I had to have my my IT department come and help me. I'm so sorry.
I get it. I was talking a little bit and giving a little bit of a segue in regards to our kiddos.
Okay. Yep. No problem. Are you still talking or would you like me to take over?
No, I finished. I actually went to Messenger to go try to find you and then I froze up and I just came back.
I was here. Okay.
Hi, Nora.
Hi, welcome back. How exciting. Sorry, guys. A little bit about
it's starting to warm up here, so I feel like my makeup that I put on, I'm starting to sweat. I'm just
I feel you, girl. So recently, our son Ethan had been holding a little something inside of him for about 6 years. Our son is 20. and he'll be 21 next month. So he sat down with me one day after work and said he wanted to talk to me. I said, oh, sure, no problem. Not thinking anything of it, just thinking it was going to be a normal, whatever, hey, mom question or conversation, I guess. And he was very nervous. I could see the tension, the almost, um, almost, he was fearful. He was fearful to tell me something. And I held his hand and I said, whatever it is that you need to tell me, if it's making you this nervous, just say it.
Just say it.
And he said, I want to tell you that I'm bisexual. And I said, you know what? Good for you, buddy. I said, I'm glad that you could come out and tell me that so openly and feel like you're not going to have fear that I'm not going to love you or I'm not going to want you anymore.
Right.
You know? And he said, it's almost like his breath, his breath, you could just see it come out of him. And he took a deep breath and he said, I've been so scared to say that. I've been so scared. And I said, we've taught you from a very young age that we love everybody. We don't care. Love is love. That's just the way it is. We love you very much. And I said, is there anything else?
Love wins every time.
Yep,
Love wins every time.
Yep. And I told him, I said, is there anything you want to talk about? Is there any more that you'd like to tell me? Or are you just comfortable with that right now? He said, I've been holding it in for 6 years. I felt like I needed to tell you. And I said, you know what? I'm really proud of you. I'm so proud of you for telling me. I'm very proud of you. And he cried. I cried. I hugged him. He hugged me for a very long time. He tried to let go, but Mama was the mama bear and didn't want to let go. And
Wendy, you've got somebody in the chat that just came out as the same and is saying hello by the name of Mark. Hello, Mark. We see you and we love you.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We love you. No matter what, you have so much love in this community.
Yep.
If you don't have it somewhere else, you definitely have it here.
Yes, you do.
And that's the truth. And, I told him, I said, do you want to have me sit down with your father? Would you like to do it? Do you want to do it as a family? I'm a beginner all of a sudden. I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
1,000 handbooks out there and I don't have one on me. I'm like, how would you like to do this?
You're like, where's my parenting material? Yeah. I don't know.
Out of nowhere. He goes, I'm going to do it. I said, all right, you brave soul. If you want to do that. And he marched right down there and he told his dad and his dad said, okay. And he said, I love you very much. And, I don't care. He said, as long as you are comfortable in your own skin and, and you want to love who you want to love, then I love you. And we told him, we'll love them.
That's right.
I told him, I said, as long as you're not breaking into stores and going in prison, I don't care. I said, you're good. You're legal. You can love who you love. And that's just how it is. And thankfully, we live in a city that is so okay and so not judgmental. We live in a suburb of Columbus, Ohio, right on the campus of the Ohio State Buckeyes. And there are flags flying as high as you can see of every rainbow, blue, pink, yeah, every color. Yeah. There are men with men. There's women with women. There's, last night I went down.
And you were talking about the trans community over there.
Huge. You walk down the street and you are with anybody you feel free to. No one says a word. And you are on one of the largest football campuses around.
Awesome.
No one says a word. That's
awesome.
Soul. And I told him, I said, you thankfully are in a place that you can feel free when you're in that area. You're free, not in all places. I want him to be smart about his surroundings.
Yeah, exactly.
Be smart. No,
I have a trans
unfortunately,
friend. I have a
yes.
trans friend over in Seattle. I don't know if
Mhm.
anybody knows who Ylva is. They just dropped a book on Amazon. You might want to check that out.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to bring her on. But
Okay.
she's the owner of Cunning Crow Apothecary
Okay.
and also a temple over in Seattle, and has told me
Mhm.
face to face that as a trans woman, over 6 foot tall, trans
Mhm.
woman doesn't feel comfortable sometimes in Seattle. So if
Really?
that's an indicator, yeah, if that's
That
an
makes me so
indicator,
sad.
it does. It does. It makes me sad too. But that was something that was told to me years ago. And I mean,
Yeah.
they still living their best life, living their most
Well,
authentic life. And
that's
I will,
fantastic. I love
yeah,
that. And you know, someone like, coming out in that manner, our kids coming out in that manner. Um, I told my son that I don't want him to constantly be looking over his shoulder, I guess, but I want him to constantly be looking over his shoulder. And it's sad that I have to say that. It's sad that I have to ask that.
right,
Um, I don't have to be in fear when I'm somewhere in public with my husband. I
right.
don't want him to feel that way. He, him, they, she, her. I don't want anyone to feel that they can't be their authentic self. And it's shameful. People should be ashamed of themselves.
People should be
And
ashamed of themselves. It's none of their damn
absolutely.
business. It's none of
No,
their damn business. It's not their
no,
life. It is not their life. So they do
no,
not
it's
need to
not.
dictate to anybody else what that is.
No, exactly. 100%.
100%.
But
I'm bringing
yep.
it up right now. It is a practical guide for witches, ritual spells, and magic for the enchanted life by Ylva Mara. And I can never say this last name. I'm sorry, Ylva. I love you. Can never say it. Radzinskiewicz.
Good try. Good try. Good
All
try.
right. Love you.
Yeah, there you go. I love you so much. I'm so
I love you
sorry.
so much. I will put
Yeah.
the Amazon link in
Oh,
the
good.
description.
Yep. There you
Love you.
go. That's helpful. uh, I know Noah is out there somewhere. So hi, Noah.
Snow is out there.
Yep.
Snow is there.
Oh, hi, Snow.
We've got Mary Jane here. We got
Hi,
a bunch
Mary
of people
Jane.
here.
Thank you for you, Noah, and thank you to everybody, Snow, for looking through everything, doing the behind the scenes. Thank you, thank you.
Behind the scenes.
Yes,
Absolutely.
thank
I'll
you,
tell you
Raven, so
now.
much for having
Are
me.
you interested? We're coming up on our hour right now. Are you interested in opening up 2 questions? If there are
Sure,
questions,
if there
yes,
are any,
you okay?
absolutely. And
If
if there's
if
not, that's fine. But
if
yeah,
there
sure.
are any questions of any of those people that are dealing with the B in the LGBTQ or
Yep,
the T in the LGBTQ
yep,
or
yep.
the whatever you want, please put
Anything.
that in bold so that I can see it very clearly, because sometimes the
Yeah,
chat flies through. So that
yeah.
way I can bring it up on screen, and that way Wendy can see it, because I don't think you have the chat open right now. Do you?
No,
No.
I.
Yeah.
Mm,
It's hard
hold
from
on.
a phone. It's hard from a phone. You got to go over there and then you toggle
Oh,
over, and it's just like hell. It's hell.
I see
Yeah.
it right now. Yeah.
Oh, here we got it. We got one already. Let me grab that and bring
Sure.
it up. Here it is from Snow the Witch. What is the coolest paranormal experience you've ever had? Is
Okay.
this for both of us? Because I can't
Yeah.
tell you what my coolest one is. I've got so many.
I will. I have one, so I'll start with that one.
Go for it.
Okay, so back to when my father passed away, we prepared everything. We got everything going. Everything was snapping right along. We were prepared. We were getting the day ready. Here comes his funeral. Okay, so we go in. Uh, Everybody is kind of talking, socializing. How are you? Blah blah blah, and everybody's having it's somber but friendly with family we haven't seen in a very long time.
Mhm.
So it's coming to that part where everybody's taking their seats. The everything's getting ready to start.
Yeah.
So um they pastor comes up, he's standing up there and he's asking everyone to sit down, and my grandmother, my dad's mother, was sitting next to me. And the Beckers owned the funeral home where he was at. Mr. and Mrs. Becker and their family lived upstairs. creep factor for me. But that's okay. Creep factor for me. But I was talking to her a little bit about it. So
Well,
she
it's
was
the
saying,
same in,
yeah,
in the dark stories of Sabrina
yep,
the Teenage Witch. I mean, they
same
live
thing.
there.
Okay,
Same thing.
same thing, same get up. Okay,
Same thing
it's
as
the
6 Feet
same
Under.
thing.
Before he was Dexter, he
Yes,
was an Undertaker.
yes, yes, my God, it's the same thing. I can't believe you just said that. I was like, okay, my goodness. Okay, thank you. So she's smiling and, she said, okay, go sit down. I'm like, okay. So I'm going to my seat and I grab it and the lights flickered. And I turned around and I looked at her and she went like this. And they did it like 2, 3 more times. And she looked at me and out loud, she says, in all the time, okay, they were in their 60s, well into their 60s. In all the time that we've had this going, which is the Mr. Becker, who was in his 70s, was raised there. He said that had never happened, not one time. We checked with the people in the surrounding homes. They didn't have that happen. And I said to my grandmother, was sitting there, and I said out loud, I said, okay, Dad, enough. I said, stop it. I said, you're not funny. I don't think you're funny. You're being creepy and you're freaking your mom out. Knock it off.
Yeah.
They flickered again. And I looked back and she said, I don't know. That to me was the coolest one. It was almost like he was saying, haha, I'm here. I'm watching you, haha. You know,
Yeah.
and I love you, and to his family. And that was it. It was the sweetest, funniest to me because he was an obnoxious, goofy man, like a jolly, happy person, and he was just giving us one more poke, you know. So
There was somebody there that was wearing yellow. Something I feel like a big flash of yellow. So that it was like they were wearing their black, but they wanted to have a sprig of color, and there was some sort of yellow or orange, is what I'm thinking.
they were all over the front.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, my grandmother, she wore flowers in her dress, live ones, and I've had to look back, and that could be it.
That could be it. That could be it. It was okay. So the way my gift, if you will, works is that I just tapped into your memory.
Yeah.
And I can read the room of what's going on. And the reason why it didn't happen to the Beckers before is that there wasn't an avenue or a medium like you. So because you have your witch light on, you've got a beacon. And so you were the conductive juices to make that happen. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It does now.
Yeah.
It does now. They said that had
never happened for the Beckers because a witch didn't walk in. You know what I mean? And when you
in this little tiny town of 2,000 people, very small, no stoplights. It's very small. It's full of churches everywhere. I doubt that they've ever had someone like me in there. It's a very Christian, very farm, very soy and corn everywhere for the eye to see. That would have been an oddity.
And isn't that interesting that you didn't ever want to tell your dad because you didn't want him to feel a certain way? And sure enough, he's the one that came bam right to
just
you
like
because
that.
Maybe when we get to the other side, we see things a little bit more clearly. And that it's not necessarily about religion. It's more about energy and connection.
Yeah. And I'm also the only one that has dreamed of him. His wife was so upset because I called her and said I had a dream. But every time I've had about 5 of them, and he sits in a corner and doesn't speak to me. But he smiles, but he looks so sad all the time. My brother gets upset because he hasn't had them. But I have. And I said, I don't know what's wrong with you. He must have loved me most. My brother, boy, that ticks him off. Of course, you know how siblings can be. Well, we do it on purpose. But,
I would suggest to your brother that actually it's happening all around him. He just needs to have an open conversation. I mean, literally talking out loud as if you're talking to that person as if they're there because they are. They are. And then that person may feel a connection and able to start
I agree with that. He's a scaredy cat. He's a scaredy cat. He doesn't like the dark. Any of that stuff. I don't like the dark. But he was driving the day my father died that night. My brother was driving home and it was on the freeway and he felt something on the back of his his shoulder, and my
Yeah.
brother flipped the lights on. He's in the car by himself, and he said, "Dad, if that's you, get out of here." He goes, you're freaking me out." Because my brother's a big scaredy cat. And I said, "Do you think that was real?" He goes, "Absolutely. He came there just to do it on purpose because he thought it was funny." I said, "Oh, he's trying to tell you he loves you. Maybe he was saying goodbye."
Maybe he was saying goodbye.
So,
I know.
you know,
That's the thing.
yeah,
There's so many different witches. I get a lot of messages, just so many messages
yeah,
about like, oh, this is happening and I need to banish it all. It's like not
yeah,
everything that goes bump in the night, not
yes,
every spirit. It's like here you asked for protection.
yep,
Is it your dad that's that's there to
yeah,
rally for you?
yep,
Like some of these things, just because they might be scary at first, might be a knock on the door of reassurance for you. Not
yeah,
everything needs to be scary, like it's coming
no,
for you. It's not. It might
absolutely,
be there as a hug, as a
yeah,
gentle reminder that I love you. It might
right,
be all of these things. It might be a lost spirit that very similar happened to like when we were on Noah's channel last night and I was
hmm,
explaining the conversation that he had with a lady that was in the theater next to him. She came to him because she felt comfortable, wanted to
oh,
be seen, wanted to be heard. It was a
okay,
wonderful thing. It was his only experience he has had thus far. But Noah
hmm,
did something pretty damn amazing, which I was
hmm,
very, very proud of my friend. Very proud. Not only was he terrified and scared, he got the name and the information, looked her up, and we all went to her gravesite and gave her honor.
hmm,
We gave her honor. It's just like what a wonderful and beautiful thing to have
right,
done for somebody who is feeling alone in another
yeah,
plane. We don't know what that means for that
no,
person. We don't know what
exactly,
that means. It's like, remember the movie Ghost? I know this is
yes,
pretty generic and a little pop culture,
well,
but
I
he
know,
was alone. And all
yep,
he wanted was to get in front of his love of his life. That's
yep,
all it was.
absolutely,
Hmm.
yep. Going to sweet Noah. Don't we all flock that way?
I know.
Poor baby.
Noah's a sweetie.
Anyway,
Sweetie.
yes,
Okay,
very,
you got another
very
one
much.
up there? This is
Um,
from Draven. And hi, Draven. I was talking to you last night. Okay. Sounds like you described where I'm from. How was growing up in that environment being a witch?
coming from where I come from, my parents were divorced when I was 4 years old. Um, where I was raised at is a small steel mill town in southern Illinois, right outside of St. Louis, Missouri. And I had never, my father, I will put it this way, my father was kind of before his marriage and Pentecostal, I will explain, my father was, please try not to freak out. My father was in the Hells Angels.
Hey,
Um,
guess what? Guess who
he,
used to play with the national president's daughter?
yeah, let
Huh?
me see. Um, yeah, that's how I grew up. First time on a motorcycle. Hells Angels would come over, the gang would come in there and do that kind of thing. And my dad was dating a witch. And the only reason I knew about it is because hold on, technical difficulty. Hold on. Go down here. Here. Oh, I can't. All right. I'm back. Okay, so I found out I was 4 years old. I went to their home, and in a box inside of a black cloth, she had this giant boa constrictor. And in this back room, she had a black curtain, and back there were all her stuff that I would go in and she'd allow me to handle, and she would do things, and she would let me sit with her and all kinds of things. I
Mhm.
had no idea what that was it for. I just thought she was super cool. She was nice to me. I loved her pet snake. It was cool. I'd go home and tell my mom. My mom would freak out because we came from a very small town, very um, lower middle class community. Didn't have a lot of there was not a lot of things to do. There was a lot of poor people there. It was, like I said, it's a steel mill town. All the dads worked at the steel mill. All the moms were either stay at home moms or
Right,
they worked at the grocery stores, things like that. So it was
right,
very
right.
small. There was no pagans. There was no, I mean, there was, but there was no pagans. There was no witches. There was nobody there was none of that. It was all, it was all very hush hush. And my father's, where he lived, Mount Olive, Illinois, central Illinois, right outside of Springfield, the capital. There is absolutely none of that. I would be shocked if someone came up to me and said that. I would be stunned. I'd probably drop over if they told me that they were anything but. Honestly, if they were Jewish or if anything, I would be. Excuse me. I mean, that's how Christian this town is.
Yeah.
It's disturbing. There's only. How do I say this? There's only.
It's like when the town of Little Ojai got black people. Ooh,
Yeah.
black
Okay.
people
I was just going to say how am I going to describe this? But there are no black family. There were no black people in my dad's town. There are no one of any color other than Snow White. And I'm like, where am I? Where in the Children of the Corn am I? Because it's very, very small and very there's nothing. I'm like, where am I? So yeah, no pagans, no witches, none of that. And where I grew up from, which is about 35 minutes from my dad's, obviously there was, because when I was 4, I sat down and played with one.
Yeah.
And my mom said to me, maybe she did something. I said, do you think? And she has always questioned that. She said, maybe she did something. I said, well, if she did, good for her. I said, because good for me.
Yeah.
She was always so good to me. So maybe that was a good thing. I don't know. Maybe she had some of it rubbed off on me. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just thought she was cool. Yeah, but that's what it's like living in the little town of nowhere. That there is none of that. You either go to church or you're a heathen. It's one or the other. It's shame on you or come to church.
Oh wow, that's
shame on you or come to church. Yeah,
shame on you or come to church. I have to say, I mean, I knew a long time ago when I was probably, and I'm going to go back to the 70s. Back to the 70s. Hang myself. Watching The Last Unicorn. And The Last Unicorn, and he had that, the magician's assistant, and there was the harpy and all this other stuff that was happening. And The Last Unicorn has that anime sort of vibe, because it has that artwork, that kind of how do I say it? That kind of characterization, that kind of animation is sort of an anime style to it. But it was very 70s, and it was kind of like Lord of the Rings, which I believe The Hobbit was done in a cartoon fashion. Same guy who did the Last Unicorn. Hey, can you bring me another of the sodas, the bubblies, since you're
there
and stuff. So I remember watching that, and I remember. Okay, so I still in a relationship with my grandparents, who were emergency foster parents, and they're also Christian missionaries in the Philippines. That's a thing. That's a thing. And so and so they are. Thank you very much. I love you.
Thank you, Bear. Oh, that's so sweet. We love you. All right, bye.
He says he loves you too. Mwah. Okay, he's off to his kilt club. He's off to doing his kilt club thing.
Oh, okay,
So I remember watching that and getting in trouble. And I was like driving with all of it. And I remember getting in trouble and saying, that's not how that goes. And that's not how that is. And this is not real. And unicorns are not real. And sorcerers are the devil. And, all this other stuff. And I remember the great big lecture. And these were beautiful people that saved me from my very abusive mother. So it's like, I listened to them. And then I, flash forward probably to maybe junior high. I started getting into reading, and I of course was reading more of those mystical-y type books, because I wasn't the best reader. I'm dyslexic in two different ways, and I don't really enjoy reading. I love research, but reading is difficult. It can be difficult, and I was like, I need something that's really gonna hook me, and I'm not gonna go reading Daniel Steele books in the 5th grade. I don't need to hear about chicka wow wow. I was like interested in, caves and fancy stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I got in trouble being at their house over summer for
Yeah.
reading a book that had, mystical qualities to it,
Yeah.
mystic qualities that
Oh,
weren't of
geez.
the Bible.
Yeah.
And that was a thing. And my mother didn't really care so much. She was, I think, more excited that I was reading and out of her
Right.
hair because, she wasn't the best mom. We all went through that.
Yeah.
Talk. But I remember just how narrow-minded everybody was. And
Yeah.
so I really am fascinated by those people that are Christian mystics or Catholic witches or things like that, because I think that you guys have a very good head on your shoulders. You have a good balance. Not only are you able to understand that, that here is this deity and here is this, God, but there's just a little bit, it's more a little all encompassing instead of this closed system that you and I were raised with.
Right. Yep.
It's pretty open-minded, and I think that that's pretty awesome. And even seeing, gay Christians.
Yeah.
I've seen there's a Missouri Synod Lutheran gay pastor that was on the Fab Five. And I was just like, this is fantastic.
Yes.
Did you see that episode?
Actually, yep. Yep.
It's just so full of love. Full of love. And again, we're going back to that energy, going back to that love is going to win every single time. And it doesn't really matter what package you're wrapped up in it. It depends on what energy you're putting forth.
Yep.
That's really what it means. That's what matters most. That really is what matters most. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. Yeah. Rack and Bass did the animated Hobbit. There you go. There you
go.
Yep. And that Hobbit was scary. As a kid, I was just like, they left me in a room thinking I was going to watch, The Hobbit by Tolkien, situation and that or whatever. And you've got hobbits like killing each other and it's cartoon animated. And I'm like, I'm just like, what am I watching? It was freaking scary.
Yes.
Yep.
Too little.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. So any other questions, anybody?
So far, I don't see any. I think we can probably wrap up if we want to wrap up. That's fine. Okay. I'm sweating like a stuck pig over here.
Yeah.
And sweating.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Well, I thank you so much, Miss Wendy, for coming on. I thought that you did really good. This one over here, people. This one over here was just like, I'm terrified. I'm scared. I'm just like, listen, you start yapping and it's all going to be fine. And if you ever have me come to you and say, would you like to be on my channel for any type of capacity, especially Truth Talk, which is going to keep going, just go back. If you go to my channel, and you reverse the thing where it's, in the oldest video first or whatever, you go back to my first video. I'm just like, hi, my name is Ravenflower. I don't know what I'm doing.
Not anymore.
I know. I'm just like out and loud and sassy as hell. I mean, it is what it is. It is.
I'm a little shy at first, but once I open my mouth, then my brains fly out and we're good to go.
Now, talk to me about which meet and greet y'all are coming
to. Well, as I look at my husband,
as she goes,
the real slow, the New Orleans one.
Yeah.
We would love to go to the other one, but I told him, I said, we have to choose which one. Which one? Which
one's it going to be? We're going to be cold or are we going to be hot?
Yes.
Which one is it going to be? Which cruise are we going on?
Yes. Which
cold or be hot?
I really, really, really bucket list top 5. New Orleans is one of them.
New Orleans.
We already did Savannah, Georgia. That was one of them. Salem, like all of us, is another one which y'all been. I have not. But New Orleans.
I have not.
Oh, you didn't go?
No.
Oh.
You just get ready. There's going to be another meet and greet because that is one of the hot topics. Another one is the Denver Gym Show.
Okay.
It's supposed to be another one. I mean, I've got lists. I'm going I got 10 years out of planning. Like, get ready, save your pennies. We're going We're going places.
Yep. New Orleans is definitely.
NOLA 2023.
Yep.
That's what Noah just put on there. So
Oh,
there's a lot
there
of
you go.
confusion. There's a lot of confusion. I've started a tribe hub where it's talking about everything instead of all
Yeah,
of these different Facebook groups. I'm leaving the
sure.
Facebook groups up there right now so that it
Hmm.
doesn't confuse people. But you
Right.
can come on over to Tribe. It
Mhm.
is a kind of like you create your own little profile, and then you get to join what I'm doing, and you can see all of the
Okay.
stuff. It's nice, everything in one place. It is
Okay.
fabulous. But this year it is on Whidbey Island, and
Okay. Yep.
for 2021. Next
Yep.
year it is in Tacoma, the meet and greet, and then we leave out of Seattle to
Uh-huh.
Alaska cruise, and then 2023 is NOLA meet and greet for that Saturday. I think most everybody's coming in on Friday, I believe.
Yep.
Most everybody's coming, and there's some
Okay.
people that are trying to come even sooner than that. And then we jump on a cruise that is going to
Yep.
go to Belize, Honduras,
Yep.
and Cozumel, I believe.
Yep.
That's a thing. And there's so many people on that. But the Alaskan cruise, I think we're up to like 8 people at this point. They're
What
they're
is
booking
it? What is that?
next
2022?
year, 2022.
Okay.
So that's May 2022. Mm-hmm.
And New Orleans is February.
February 2023.
Oh, see, I totally messed that one. I think I flipped them. I think I flipped them. Okay. All right, my bad. So we'll be looking into that. My bad.
No worries.
Okay.
No worries.
Okay.
And, people are just like, how do y'all afford to do all these things? How do we afford it? There's payment plans.
You make payments, people.
I'm a witch on layaway. Let me just
Yeah.
tell you, I don't have
On
money when you're
layaway.
thinking. I don't have this money. Carnival allows you to have this wonderful payment plan. You can put down a percentage, or just
Right.
whatever. You can make monthly payments, or
Uh-huh.
they give you the option of I think they have their own credit financing, and then
Yeah.
there's also another version of you put your deposit down and you
Yep.
just pay by a certain date before you're sailing. There's so
Yeah,
many options, so many
if
ways.
you get on there, guys, it tells you. It gives you all those options if you get on there. It's very informative.
Yeah, I don't have to be a witchy travel agent. I just have to plan the things for you to come along.
Yep.
So much easy. So much easier.
And call them. Call them.
Yep.
Don't bug Raven like I did. So yeah,
you can bug me all you want to. It's okay.
So just make sure you have all your stuff.
Yep.
But other than that, yeah. Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you guys asking questions and taking your time out of your day to listen, and to my little humbling type of life.
Yeah, I mean, you're set. You can start your own YouTube channel now, lady.
Oh, no way, sister. I'm going to leave that up to you. That's all you. That's all you. I just watch all the entertainment and love.
Oh, well, I love you dearly. I love you dearly. And I really thank you for not only being such a good friend, but you've been there for me since like the beginning. I remember it. You have been in the chat since the beginning. I remember comments from you. You're one of my first customers at Raven Flower Designs. You've always come along, and you've always been so supportive. And I love you. I love you to death.
Thank you, sweetheart. I love you too. You and Bear are amazing people.
Oh, I feel the same. I can't wait to meet you and hug you in real life, damn it.
We're gonna.
Embraces. It's just like, everybody just come to mama.
Yes.
Just come. I'm just gonna hug y'all.
Come on.
Come on, man.
You're our mama witch. Come on. All my children.
I love.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you again.
Well, blessed be Miss Sister. I think you're amazing, and I wish you well today.
You too.
Thank you for coming on.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye. And that's it. That wraps up another one. And thank you so much for having us. We have, oh God, I've got a big old calendar, and I did put it on my thing, which is not in front of me. But oh boy, we got stuff to do. We've got a pretty big lineup, and August is not even finished, and we already have people lining up for September. So I don't think Truth Talk is going to go away anytime soon, and that's okay. If there's truth out there to be said, come on in. If you want to be one of the guests on Truth Talk, you're welcome to message me. You can either email me at ravenflowerwest@gmail.com, or you can private message me on Facebook or Instagram. I don't know if I'm Ravenflower on Instagram. I don't know. All the things. It's in the deal. It's on the thing. Noah set it up. Thank God, because I'm an old lady. I don't know stuff. Anyhow. I love you guys. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. And until next time, I think I've got 2 Truth Talks next week, and I'll have to post them and make the thumbnails and do the things and plug it in and all that other stuff. And for that book on for a practical guide for witches, by Ylva Mara, I will put that in the description box so that you can go and grab that. A beautiful, beautiful trans woman here in Seattle. And the art is lovely. Everything is lovely. And I hope that you will give her some support. Love you guys. Have a great day. Bye.